Good afternoon. I will call to order the January 9th meeting of the Minneapolis City Planning Commission. My name is Matt Brown. I serve as president of the commission. I'm joined today by Commissioners Magrino, Sweezy, Lukey-Peer, and Rockwell. Our first item of business is to approve the actions from the December 5th, 2016 meeting. May I have a motion to approve those actions? Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that motion carries. Our next item of business is to organize the agenda. You can find hard copies of the agenda in the hallway. We'll determine which items will be on consent, which items we will discuss, and which will be continued to another meeting. So starting at the top of the agenda, item number 1 is Metro Transit. That is a vacation in the vicinity of 6th Street North and 7th Avenue North. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on that item? Seeing no one, we'll put item 1 on consent. Item 2 is at 2204 Marshall Street Northeast. That's a conditional use permit to allow an existing dock. We have a slight modification to the motion language on that item and revising condition number 2. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on item 2? Seeing no one, we'll put that on consent as well. Item 3 is at 3216 Lyndale Avenue South. That is a conditional use permit to increase the maximum height of a building to allow a dormer addition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on item 3? Seeing no one, we'll put that on consent. Item 4 is at Glenwood, which is at 297 and 301 Thomas Avenue North, 2601 Glenwood Avenue North, 2700 2nd Avenue North, and 110 Russell Avenue North. That is a rezoning petition and conditional use permit, site plan review, and minor subdivision related to a minor auto repair facility in the existing building there, some modifications to the parking lot. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on that item? Seeing no one, we'll put item 4 on consent. Item 5 is the 4700 Cedar Retail Addition and Renovation, located at 4700 through 4714 Cedar Avenue South. That's a site plan review. The applicant has requested that we continue that application to the January 23rd meeting. So item number 5 will be continued. If anyone is here for that item, we will consider that again in 2 weeks. Item 6 is Aspro Auto Sales at 1300 East Lake Street, a conditional use permit and site plan review. Actually, the recommendation is to return the site plan review, so it is just a conditional use permit for an auto sales facility there. Is anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation for item 6? Seeing no one, we'll put item 6 on consent. Item 7 is at 401 Nicollet Mall and 47 South 4th Street. That is a conditional use permit for a surface parking lot. We also have a slight change to the motion language in the site plan review application related to that pertaining to the width of the planter that is required. Is anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on item 7? Seeing no one, we'll put item 7 on consent. Item 8 is the Aberdeen at 1321 5th Avenue South. Several applications for a new residential building there. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on item 8? Seeing no one, we'll put that on consent. And finally, item 9 is the Holmes Avenue Apartments at 3009 through 3013 Holmes Avenue South. Several applications for a new residential building there. Is anyone wishing to speak in opposition to or modify the staff recommendation on item 9? Seeing no one, we'll put that on consent. So our agenda as amended is as follows. Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be on consent. And item 5 will be continued to the January 23rd meeting. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? We have a motion and second. All in favor? And that motion carries. Our next item of business is to consider the committee of the whole consent agenda. Since Commissioner Slack is just walking in, I can quickly go over the items that were considered at the December 8th committee of the whole meeting. We had considered a land sale at 3751 Logan Avenue North, also a land sale at 2424 12th Avenue South. Found that both of those items are consistent with the comprehensive plan and may have a motion finding those items consistent with the comprehensive plan. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the public hearing portion of our meeting. And at this time, I will open the public hearing for the items on the consent agenda. Again, that is items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Is anyone wishing to speak on any of those items? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. And commissioners, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Magrino.
Just wanted to make a quick comment about item 7 on there, the conditional use permit for the parking lot by the Excel building. I actually had like a half-written email to Mr. Wittenberg in my drafts box for like 6 months about that because they're using parking on the side. They've been using the side of the building for parking for a while, and I mean it's fine, and obviously I think it meets the findings for a conditional use permit. But in retrospect, I think if when that had gone through and they had left like a 50-foot alley between the two buildings downtown, it maybe was kind of clear that they were going to ultimately use it for parking. And so in the future, when we're looking at site plan reviews, I hope we think a little bit more about leaving a huge space between two big buildings downtown that you can't really use for anything but parking if we're trying to discourage parking downtown. So just had 2 cents on that one.
All right, thank you for that insight. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Next, commissioners may have a motion to continue item 5 to the January 23rd meeting. We have a motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. That concludes our business for today. We have committee of the whole this Thursday, and our next meeting is January 23rd.
We'll make up for it Thursday.